So today an Inquiring Minds viewer and supporter sent me this little bottle of White Lightning. Thank you, Dustin. I'll be interested to try it against my homemade White Lightning in a future video. But he also sent me a pen that I had sold him. This is a 1946 Parker Vacumatic in Silver Pearl. Beautiful pen. And he sent it back to me saying that it wouldn't fill anymore. He took the opportunity of sending me this White Lightning and putting in the same package the pen to see whether I could do anything about it. It was only in my hands a couple of minutes. I took it apart and I discovered what the problem was. Now this pump mechanism here is 77 years old, so they will fail. You don't take this little cup piece, which is ebonite, off of these rods. It's a celluloid rod. When you're restoring them, the sack goes in that cup and then you put it in the pen. And after a lot of use, it separated that cup end from the rod. And of course, that never worked again. And this was trapped inside with the sack. So it was easy to remove the old sack. I'm going to glue this back on to that little rod. And then we're going to resack the pen and put it back together again and send it back to Dustin. So let's do that right now. I'm going to use my Inky Nib Parker Vac Extractor and my Inky Nib Pellet Pusher Tool, version 2, and a new Vacumatic diaphragm. And we'll push that diaphragm into that cup after we've glued it. Now we just need a little tiny dab of glue on the end of that celluloid rod, just like that. And then we push that back on the rod until it's tight and make sure it doesn't glue that down so it functions. So we'll let that dry and then we'll put the new diaphragm in. And now that's dried, let's push this pellet into that cup. And there we go. That's fairly tight in there. And now the pellet pusher actually has a line at which we can cut this to the right length. Got a feel for that line. It's right there. And I'm just going to cut it off square. So that's now cut to the right length. Dust it with a little talcum powder to allow it to fold back on itself. And then we fold the sleeve back onto itself until we get it to slide right back up to that metal lip. Right there. That looks nice and square all the way around. Now I'm going to take a little bit of silicone oil and put that just around that edge of that cuff so that it slides on the inside of the barrel of the Vacumatic. And then I just twist it a little bit like that to make sure it doesn't bind inside. There. And just get it moving. And then I'm going to put a little silicone oil on those threads as well and screw the barrel down on top of it. I can feel the diaphragm sliding inside that barrel so it's not getting hung up in there, and we can see it working inside the barrel just like that. And I take my tool and put it on the end of the Vacumatic pump, tighten it down, and then just give it a slight turn to hand tight. There we go. And I don't like to shellac these barrels down so that just like this situation where Dustin found that this didn't work anymore, I can get back into that pen really, really easily. If it was shellacked down, I'd have to reheat it and try to get that off of there. So instead of shellacking it, I'm going to put some silicone grease, not oil, but grease on those threads, because the silicone grease not only lubricates, but it will stop the flow of any ink. So we should see a little bit of that grease gushing out here. Run it back and forth a few times and wipe off any excess. I'm going to fill it up with some ink and give it a test, and then polish it up again and send it back to Dustin. And here's the pen all polished up again, just like new. Nib is great. That feed is very shiny. And let's fill it up with ink. And here we go, 1946 Parker Vacumatic. This is a silver pearl. Beautiful writer. So I'll clean it out again and I'll send it back. There you go, Dustin. Thanks for watching.
I made this.